Good morning, Anarchy Land. This is Tracy, and this is the second installment of America. How free are we? We are stripping away the propaganda and the bullshit from forms of governing. Now, we're going to compare our government in its current state with other governments from the past that followed the same path. So, here we go. America, how free are we really? The new fascist state. And the book I am using is right here. Let me make sure I'm getting this. It is Fascism, What Is It, and How to Fight It by Leon Trotsky. Now keep in mind, these are my notes that I made as I read the book. Now, let's look at his definition. Fascism is a form of far-right, authoritarian, ultra-nationalism characterized by dictatorial power, forcibly suppressing of opposition and strong regimentation of society and the economy, which came to prominence in the 20th century in Europe. Now think about this. August 31st, 2005, Judge Emmett Sullivan, in his grandeur, made it clear that we, the people, answer to the government, not the other way around. Even though our constitutional creators meant for things to be the other way around, or so we're told. Now, this is the attitude that kings and queens had back in the day. They were seen as supreme judge. The king or czar answered to God in heaven only. One of the things that in this book that caught my attention was a quote. Fascism is nothing else but capitalist reaction. What does he mean by that? Okay. Italy was the first European nation to adopt a fascist style of governing, of course. It took 2 years for this to happen. Then it spread across Europe like Black Death. When the power of capitalists is threatened, that is when they double down on their authoritarianism, and well, JFK is what happens when you challenge it. Trump, if you remember, promised to open records on JFK's murder. Instead, he suppressed them for another 20 years. Trump promised to release the missing 8 pages of 9/11 report. Nothing, not one peep. He promised less military intervention and bringing our soldiers home from Syria. Nothing. He has actually increased the number of soldiers in Syria or in Iraq, along with Afghanistan. Now, kings and queens and czars would often order the murder of their opposition. Not necessarily the king or queen of another country, but maybe like their head knight, which would be like a commander. Where did we see that? A couple weeks ago, when Trump ordered the murder of Qasem Soleimani out of that he was in the IRGC of Iran. Very beloved man. Helped us a great deal. They went in 2003 and killed Saddam Hussein. I'm not saying he was a good guy. I'm not saying he was a bad guy. I didn't know him. I never met him. Okay? I honestly have no idea if he was or not. Well, what we do know is to this day, there has not been one, oh goodness, weapon of mass destruction found. Zero. Zilch. Nada. Not even a scientist who could have made them have been found. Well, he probably killed them all. I mean, he was a dictator after all. At this point, the Iraqi citizens are sick of having our presence there, and I don't blame them. This is a sovereign country. According to Trump, there is no Iraq, though. But what is he doing? He is doing exactly what Hitler did, what Mussolini did. He is keeping our military in that area, regardless of what they want. That is fascism. That is one aspect of a fascist government. Now let's look at who's threatened the most by socialism and communism. It's your bourgeoisie class, like Trump. So your bourgeoisie, they are your billionaires and trillionaires, i.e. Trump and the Rothschilds. 2 is petty bourgeoisie, millionaires like Elon Musk and other business owners can be considered. They tend to be a little more, independent business owners tend to be a little more empathetic to workers. They tend to treat their workers a little bit better because they're a smaller independent business, and they understand that if they don't have employees, they don't have a business. Alright, now let's look at different classes which Karl Marx felt would always be at warfare as long as there were classes. As long as you had one or two that could exploit the third. As long as you had your bourgeoisie and your petty bourgeoisie that can exploit the proletariat, there's going to be conflict. That's just the way it is. Now, political programs. Let's look at these. Jacobson, French Revolutionary, which was basically petty bourgeoisie, your independent people. And you get your reformist democracy. This includes people like Senator Bernie Sanders, who openly calls himself a Democrat socialist. Then you got fascism. We could call this the party of fear. The fear of being pushed aside in favor of something better than what they have to offer. And they should be afraid, because there are better solutions. Now, during the 1930 election in Germany, the Comintern, the International Communist Party, feared Germany's election would go fascist. Well, it did, and we know how well that worked. We all know how that ended up. Why did they go? Why did Germany go National Socialist? 2 reasons, according to Leon Trotsky. 1, a deep social crisis which resulted as a loss in World War I. The second reason was someone willing to lead a revolution. Hitler. Germany wasn't fascist at first. It took him a 5-year plan. But that was the end game, the end plan. That was his plan toward the end. To get him there. Now, if means of production remains in the hands of a small number of capitalists, there's no way out for society. Leon Trotsky. Very true. Very, very true. Bottom line is our government has decided that if they want to kill a commander of a foreign government, they can and will. If they want to turn a foreign government inside out, with sanctions, it's their right. Everybody else should shut up and go along with it. As long as there's a leader of a nation who will say no to them, they will lash out like a child. Often people decide that we should support the government blindly, regardless of our own morals. We say we are a Christian nation, yet we sit back while our government behaves in a manner that would anger Christ. They break every commandment on a daily basis. The followers simply pray for war with Iran or whoever else they are told to pray for war with, by the very person who should be raising awareness to the unchristlike actions. That is the bottom line, people. Have no doubt about it. We have to start taking control of our country. We've got to get back. We've got to stop this fascist path. How? We're going to have to come together. Now here's where Trotsky and Karl Marx and even Frederick Engels agree. People like you and me have got to come together and tell them, no, you will not go kill this general, commander, who, one, is very high in a government, who's very admired, and who has helped us a great deal over the years. People, we've got to stand up and say no. We got to refuse to give these bourgeoisies what they want. We cannot give them our kids. They don't deserve them. We're going to send them to their death and not think anything about it. Alright, that is it for this week of America. How free are we? The new fascist state, and we are a fascist state. Have no doubt about it. I will see you guys next week when we look at the Communist Manifesto by Frederick Engels and Karl Marx.